Good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Monday night's calendar.
Hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
Love, sweat and tears. Spurred on by Rob Burrows' wife, Lindsay, thousands ran in sweltering heat in a show of unity with the MND community.
It's really tough. I'll try not to cry. Last year, obviously, Rob was with us. He'll be watching down on us today, I'm sure.
Leeds should be proud. We didn't have this, did we? A few years ago. I look what we've created, everybody, together.
What's your beef? Yorkshire farmers say Trump's tariff deal with Britain could be bad news for their industry and for what ends up on our plates.
I hope the consumers wake up to realise that beef, maybe coming from America, isn't up to our British standards with full traceability and stick by British farming.
Always in our thoughts, 4 decades on, a poignant day of remembrance for the 56 fans who died in the Bradford fire disaster.
And Sheffield United are 90 minutes away from a playoff final. 3-0 up from the first leg. They look to finish the job here at a sold-out Bramall Lane.
So first tonight, they did it in his name. More than 10,000 of them pounded the streets for 26 miles in sweltering conditions, all of them inspired by the incredible life of Rob Burrows.
Rob's wife, Lindsay, felt the pain more than most. It was the first time the marathon, a show of unity with the MND community, had been run without the man it was named after.
We'll be hearing from Lindsay shortly, but first, Helen Steele looks back on what was a memorable and emotional day.
It was a bittersweet moment for Lindsay Burrows. Comforted by her son, but without husband Rob by her side.
It's really tough. I'll try not to cry. But yeah, it's really tough. Last year, obviously, Rob was with us. He'll be watching down on us today, I'm sure.
Let's show everybody what a great city we've got.
The race began with a pep talk from Rob's best friend and MND campaigner Kevin Sinfield.
He's still with us, still here in spirit. Obviously, the full Borough family here. Lindsay's running, so he'd be pretty proud looking down on this again. So, we'll get it done today.
3, 2, 1.
And 10,000 did get it done. It was a day for personal achievements.
4 hours.
We're hoping just to finish.
And it was a day to celebrate the city.
Beautiful afternoon for us. It's just amazing to see how Leeds has turned up. Friends, family, everyone. I am so proud and pleased of my city.
Former Huddersfield town striker Marcus Stewart was diagnosed with MND 3 years after Rob.
I mean, the city of Leeds for me is amazing city. The fans of the club, the fans of the rugby club, of the football club.
The race has been billed as the hardest in Europe, with a gruelling 4-mile uphill stretch at mile 17. But Rob's family wanted this race, his legacy, to be an inclusive one.
We've never had a wheelchair race to do this marathon, and I fancy the challenge. And Run for All, it's in the title, it should be like that. Everyone should have a place on the start line.
Comedians Rosie Jones and Ivo Graham also took on the challenge.
We're going to be trying not to collapse on these many, many hills around Otley. That's the big pressure. Can we hold it together on the hills?
Yeah, and now bring the vibes, the chat and the sweeties.
At the end of those Otley hills was a welcome sight, and none more so than for Lindsay, whose children were waiting, medal in hand.
I think the support on the street, people coming out, cheering you on, just gets you through when you're doing it tough, and just couldn't wait to see the kids at the finish line, and that made it all worthwhile. This is for Rob, and I hope I made him proud.
Leeds should be proud. We didn't have this, did we? A few years ago. I look what we've created, everybody, together.
What a wonderful day, and congratulations to everybody who took part. Well, a little earlier on today, I spoke to Lindsay Burrow when she popped into the studio for a chat, and I began by asking her how she was feeling after completing the gruelling Leeds course.
Yeah, surprisingly really good actually. I think I felt worse after doing London, so I think I've got off quite lightly this time. I've managed to walk in heels today, so yeah, no, I'm not feeling too bad.
And I know last time that we saw you, you had trouble with your toenails, didn't you? But yes. You weren't talking about it. Are they okay?
They are, yeah. I managed to lose a toenail doing London, but luckily they're all, I've just got 9 still intact.
That's absolutely brilliant. For most of us yesterday, you know, we were quite happy sitting in the garden in the sun, but for you running this marathon, it must have been very difficult in that sun.
It was, yeah. It was. I mean, it was a great day for the spectators, but for the runners, not so good. But just an incredible atmosphere. You know, the city of Leeds really came out and supported the runners. You know, from hosing you down with the showers to the ice pops to the jelly babies. You know, along the route, it was an incredible day. I'm, you know, so honoured to have had the opportunity to take part in the run yesterday. It was a hot day. It was tough. It's a tough route, but to see all the amazing runners running for charities, running for fitness, so many different reasons was just incredible.
And so many people are running in Rob's name, and this was the first year of the marathon without Rob. How tough was that?
Yeah, very bittersweet. I think to be on the start line was incredible. To have the marathon in Rob's name is just incredible legacy. But it was tough not having Rob there. You know, he was there last year. He'd been there for the last 2 years. Obviously, took part in the first marathon, crossed the finish line with Kevin. So to not have him there yesterday was tough. It was emotional, but just wanted to make Rob proud. And I know Rob would have been incredibly proud of, you know, all the amazing runners and, you know, the volunteers and Run for All that put on an incredible event yesterday.
And most importantly, he'd have been proud of you.
I hope so. I hope he was looking down with a big smile on his face. And, you know, ultimately I wanted to run for Rob. I wanted to make him proud. And so hopefully I did that yesterday. And
there were 10,000 runners who were running in his name. A lot of them were raising money for the MND community. Does that help you?
It does, absolutely. It's so inspiring to see so many people running for Rob, and not just for Rob, but for other charities as well. But I think, you know, the ones that were running, you know, specifically for the Care Centre appeal, it's just incredible, and that is a legacy that we'll have, and other families will be able to use the Care Centre, and it's just so special to have that in Rob's name.
And we saw you crossing the finish line. We saw your lovely children there to greet you and to congratulate you. How supportive have they been?
Oh, they've been incredible. You know, Macy is chomping at the bit to run her first marathon. So she's very much takes after Rob. She's got the sporting genes in the family. But yeah, just to have them, you know, knowing that they were at the finish line to greet me was a huge boost, and got me through the tough times in the run, knowing that they were going to be there at the finish line, and to have them present me with the medal was a really special day, and, you know, a day that I'll remember forever.
And what comes next for Lindsay Burrow? Because you've just done these 2 marathons in just over 2 weeks. What's next?
Yeah, do you know, I need to tidy my garage. The first thing in my kitchen cupboards need a tidy. But I think, you know, I'll continue to do my bit. You know, we still haven't got a cure for this disease. There's still over 5,000 people in the UK that are living with this disease. So to continue to do my bit to fundraise and, you know, to help other families that might be in a similar situation to us, is, you know, we'll keep banging that drum.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in to see us.
Pleasure, thank you.
It's always great to see Lindsay, of course, in the studio. Now that you're watching Monday's calendar with Lara Rostron and Ian White, and still to come before 6:30. Sitting on a gold mine, with global prices currently rocketing, the contents of your old jewellery box could be worth a lot more than you think.
And I'll have a forecast that could both delight and dismay. Here comes high pressure again. That means lots of blue sky, but it's going to stay dry.
Time for some more news from around the region now, and an inquest has heard that the main suspect in a crossbow attack which injured 2 women in Leeds died after shooting himself in the head. Owen Lawrence, who was 38, was taken to hospital with an airgun injury after the incident on Otley Road in Headingley. He died 2 days later. Facebook posts that appear to have been made by Lawrence prior to the attack in April give details of a manifesto with a list of intended targets.
A man has admitted killing an elderly cyclist in a hit-and-run crash in Rotherham. Graham Slynn, who was 81, was hit as he rode along the A57 near Toddock last month. Today, Kane Byrne, who's 20 and from Derbyshire, pleaded guilty to causing death by dangerous driving, along with driving whilst disqualified and without insurance. He'll be sentenced in June.
Firefighters are still damping down a large area of moorland near Halifax after a wildfire broke out yesterday. West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service is advising residents living close to Ogden Moor to keep their doors and their windows closed. 9 fire crews were brought in to bring the blaze under control. 5 crews are still at the moor monitoring the fire as we speak.
Well, next to fears from North Yorkshire farmers that Donald Trump's tariff deal with the UK could damage their industry and threaten the standard of what ends up on our plates.
The UK government has moved to reassure beef producers that hormone-injected meat readily available in the US will not pass import restrictions.
But those working in the industry here are not convinced and are urging consumers to buy British. Sally Simpson reports.
At the auction market in York, business is brisk. Hundreds of top-quality Yorkshire-reared cattle pass through its gates every week. In a recent agreement made with the US, 13,000 tonnes of beef exports will be permitted annually, and the same amount will be allowed to come in. But farmers feel agriculture is at the back of the queue in such deals, which they say favour motoring and steel, and fear the impact on their industry.
I think it's even Stevens in terms of the tariff quotas, but really and truthfully, you know, we've got the best beef in the world here. We produce the best. Why would we want to bring something into this country that isn't to our standards?
It must be more beneficial for the environment to produce cheap protein at sort of locally off something that is fairly carbon friendly, which is growing grass, rather than importing food, namely beef, from abroad.
Imports, it's only to maybe put beef a bit cheaper on the consumer's plate, but I hope the consumers wake up to realise that beef maybe coming from America isn't up to our British standards with full traceability and stick by British farming.
I would imagine that it could help to keep the price lower for the customer or for people in general, because it will put more pressure on farmers who are rearing cattle in this country. But other than that, I can't see any great benefit to it.
Andrew Loftus is a cattle farmer near Ripon. He says the new deal doesn't provide a level playing field for US and UK trade.
A lot of these deals aren't primarily around agriculture. This one seems to be about cars and other things, but often agriculture is the thing traded off. Although there's 13,000 tonnes either way, which is quite a big chunk of beef, that would potentially be our second biggest export market after the EU, it seems that the stuff going into America will still be tariffed, albeit at a lower rate, whereas the stuff they can send here will be tariff-free. So it doesn't seem to be quite equal, and that's what concerns me most of all.
In a statement, the government said it signed a deal with the US in the national interest to secure thousands of jobs across key sectors and lay the groundwork for greater trade in the future. It adds, "We are meeting with leaders from all sectors to discuss the impacts of this deal." Only time will tell what the impact will be on farming in Yorkshire and beyond. Sally Simpson, ITV News.
Now, yesterday was an emotional day for hundreds of people who attended a memorial service to mark the 40th anniversary of the Bradford fire disaster.
56 fans died and hundreds were injured in the blaze, which engulfed the main stand on May the 11th, 1985. Centenary Square became a focal point for a poignant service remembering those who died, those who survived and many others affected by the country's worst stadium fire disaster.
It's part of what Bradford is and what it means to people, yes. Because sport is a way of bringing people together, which was what it did, you know. And people were very loyal to the club, like my parents who'd followed it for 60 years.
In the immediate aftermath of the fire, terrified fans poured into the terraced streets surrounding the ground. Well, Natalie Higgins spoke to residents on Cornwall Terrace in the shadow of Valley Parade, who offered a ray of light and support in the darkest of times.
Just a stone's throw away from Valley Parade's 18-yard box lies the close-knit community of Cornwall Terrace. And on that sunny morning 40 years ago, the people living here had no idea what terrors were about to unfold.
This was my house, 1985. I lived here for about 12 years, approximately, when the fire disaster happened.
And you came out and saw what was happening?
Yeah, came out running and saw all this big crowd of people. We were at home, getting on with our normal day-to-day life. I could see, people walking, fire all over their body, and it was really, really scary. And I wish we could save those lives. The people who are scared, and remembering those scene makes you very sad.
These were the days before mobile phones. As the fire was burning and people were fleeing the ground, they needed a way to contact their loved ones. So they came to these homes and the people opened their doors and welcomed them in.
I mean, I was only 6 years old. I mean, and I still remember supporters that come in, and they felt loved, reassured that they're here, they're safe, and they could make the phone calls to their families. There was people shaking, blanket over them.
How do you feel if you have a loved one? They're going to the Bradford City football ground, watch match. So obviously the panic is all over.
But 4 decades on, the horrific scenes these people saw that day are still raw.
I was 13 when it happened, and I was standing just here, and suddenly we saw people shouting and coming out, and I was facing this way, and we saw a flame and burning, and it was the street was surrounding with the people, and I felt scared.
It was a horrifying experience for everybody. I think it's something that's we always look back on. My childhood memory is the first memories is the actual Bradford City fire disaster.
Today, as daylight breaks, these homes stand in the shadows of the new main stand, built in place of the rows of bare steel and blackened timbers, which were left behind. Natalie Higgins, ITV News, Bradford.
Yes, memories from Cornwall Terrace in Bradford 40 years ago, and a 5-part series for ITVX which follows the story of Bradford City from its beginnings all the way to the inquiry which followed the fire, and now this season's promotion is available now. The first episode looks at the build-up to the game, which had started in carnival mood.
We went round the ground showing the trophy to all the supporters. Great celebration of what we'd done all through the season, really. I remember we all had a plaque and we stood in the middle of the ground that said thank you.
I don't know who came up with that idea. It was a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful day. There was nothing at stake. Well, there was. In the world of fate, people's lives were at stake.
To find that feature, go to the ITVX app on your smart TV, phone or online, click on categories, then click on news and scroll down. Along with our latest programmes, you can catch up with exclusive content and some of our best stories, all available on ITVX on demand.
OK. Now, if you happen to have a bit of gold jewellery tucked away somewhere at home, you could be sitting on a small gold mine.
Ah, that's because the price of the precious metal has rocketed, largely driven by President Trump's recent tariff war.
It's also why insurers are warning people to check if their policies actually cover the value of their gold. James Webster's been finding out more.
When you're shopping for jewellery, the price is easy to find. But with the value of gold increasing, the items you have at home may now be worth more than you paid for them. Jacqueline and Edward is an online jeweller with a studio in Wetherby. They regularly track that changing price.
The trend is up. There's no future guarantee of any more calmness or certainty in the world, and the gold price is often linked to that. So it becomes difficult to manage in that the gold price is continually rising.
Historically, the price of gold has been fairly stable. The global financial crisis of 2008 was a perfect example of a significant event that can cause an increase. In 2011, some European economies faced uncertainty. The price increased again. COVID in 2020 did the same, and more recently, the price rise has been fuelled by policies announced by the US President Donald Trump.
If the economy is not doing good, then maybe the investors, they will find safety in gold, and that will drive the price of gold because they will invest in gold.
And that means gold jewellery is now worth considerably more than 2 decades ago. A 14-carat gold ring, £22 in 2005, today £239. An 18-carat gold bracelet goes from £29 to £307. And a 22-carat gold chain, previously £35, now £375. One of the country's leading insurers, based in York, says rising prices might mean some insurance policies are out of date.
In the worst scenario, you may not be able to make a claim. Staying on top of those valuations and making sure that you notify your insurer of any changes is really important to making sure that you've got the right level of protection there as and when you need it.
It's usually the jewels themselves that catch your eye rather than the rising price of gold, but that may be having a direct effect on the value of what's in your jewellery box. James Webster, ITV News.
Exciting stuff, eh? I tell you what,
What?
I'm going to be looking through my drawers later.
Do you know what? I've got nothing of value in my...
Really?
No, nothing
Bet
at all.
Chris has got some gold tucked away.
I don't want to know what's in your drawers, to be honest. We'll end the conversation there, shall we?
Yeah, well, what about the football season then? Because it's almost over, but not quite.
It is not quite in. It's playoff season, if you didn't know. My favourite time of the year as well. I love it.
Is this your favourite time?
I love it. I love it. Contrasting fortunes for our two teams in the Football League playoffs. We'll get on to Chesterfield shortly, but tonight, Sheffield United have the chance to finish the job against Bristol City and get to the Championship final at Wembley. They're already 3-0 up going into the second leg at Bramall Lane tonight, where Arif Ahmed is live for us this evening. Arif, surely the Blades can't mess it up from here.
Yeah, surely not, Chris. You're right. Hopefully not. You join me at Bramall Lane, where there's a quiet air of confidence around the place. You can probably hear the DJ whipping the fans up for a party atmosphere here tonight. I'm joined now by Nick from the Sheffield United Way podcast. Nick, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
3-0 up from the first leg. Is it job done?
No, not at all. I would say job almost done. I think we need a goal tonight to secure Wembley.
Is that the important thing, the way to approach this game, to get that goal, to treat it as if it is 0-0?
Absolutely. I think we'll start a little bit cagey, try and make sure we don't concede in the first 20-25 minutes. I think if Bristol City get an early goal, it could be slightly shaky in the stands. But no, I think we should be fine tonight.
Should be fine. Let's hope so. And get through tonight. You get to Wembley, promotion final. What do you mean to get to that final?
Oh, we've done it before, many times before, but we've never actually got over the line. So yeah, it's very exciting. That's the best way to get promoted, surely, is to go through the playoffs. We didn't want top two anyway.
Of course you didn't. And as you touched on, that playoff record isn't great. 9 times you've been there, 9 times you've failed. Is Chris Wilder the man to get you over the line?
I hope so. If anyone, Chris Wilder needs to do the job, because he is obviously Sheffield boy through and through, Sheffield United fan, all the way from ball boy to manager. It's a great story, and that story just needs to keep continuing.
And have you booked your tickets yet? Have you started looking at hotels yet? Have you tempted it yet?
No, I wouldn't say I was a pessimist, but I'm a realist. No, we need to get through this 90 minutes now. No refundable tickets booked or anything like that. Yeah, it's certainly 90 minutes to go until we've done the job, because no Sheffield United fans would be expecting us to win tonight. We just need to do the job.
And let's hope they do. Thanks very much for joining us on Calendar. There you go, 3-0 from the first leg. Let's hope they can get the job done here.
Let's hope so, Arif. Glorious evening weather-wise. Let's hope it's a glorious evening for Sheffield United tonight. Well, as promised, let's get on to Chesterfield, and the picture down in North Derbyshire, well, it doesn't look quite so rosy, does it? The Spyrites will need to overcome a 2-goal deficit if they're to book a trip to Wembley on Bank Holiday Monday after losing at home to Walsall yesterday afternoon. So they'll have it all to do in the second leg down in the Midlands on Friday night. And finally from me, despite having a full day to take 6 Essex wickets, Yorkshire have drawn their latest county championship match. This was Yorkshire's final wicket. Don Best, the man to take it, but try as they might, Essex's stubborn resistance held out and that final wicket proved elusive. Well, let's hope Sheffield United don't drop the ball tonight and they can make it to Wembley, eh?
Let's hope so. Thanks very much, Chris. Right, let's get the weather from Nick Miller.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, it's been a very warm start to the week. You may have caught a shower last night, but the wait for significant rain goes on. So our picture here has some water in it, but not falling from the sky. The next rain, it might not come until the end of next week. This is a very dry forecast with plenty of sunshine. There'll be an easterly breeze, so coastal areas will find temperatures a little bit cooler than inland. And on that breeze, we may just find a bit of low cloud and mistiness coming in during the mornings occasionally. But on the whole, there will be plenty of sunshine. Low pressure, which has brought a few showers and thunderstorms to southern and western parts of the UK, clearing away. No surprise to find high pressure taking over once again, and that's the reason why our weather is set fair yet again through another week. So we will have clear skies into tonight. Not out of the question, there could be 1 or 2 mist and fog patches forming here and there, and temperatures not going down too far. Still a noticeable easterly breeze, just dipping down into single figures in 1 or 2 spots. Your sun time, so sunrise tomorrow just after 5 a.m. It's now near 9 p.m. for your sunset, and we will have plenty of sunshine tomorrow from sunrise until sunset. The easterly breeze will still be noticeable. It is coming into the coast, so we're holding the temperature here much closer to the average for the time of year, whereas inland, not as warm as today, but still into the low 20s. The breeze will ease a bit as the day goes on. It's strong sunshine. It is high UV. And here's a picture for what it's worth through the night and into Wednesday. High pressure, of course, still in control, so there'll be lots of fine weather, maybe just a little bit of low cloud here and there, and a tad cooler towards midweek. But on the whole, we are staying fine and dry. We wait for rain.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Despite the fine dry weather, pollen levels actually going down this week. The tree pollen season is just about done, and we're waiting for the grass pollen season to get going, and that's why levels are going to be low.
And that is all we have time for. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
See you later. Bye-bye.